What's later?
Whenever the future seems unclear, whenever there's mystery beyond what I can see, whenever my heart is feeling low, whenever I'm feeling doubt, I know you'll work it out to make all things work for my good. So when fear tries to hold me down, I know where peace is found. Whenever I'm afraid, I put my trust in you. Whenever I'm afraid, I put my trust in you. When the road is long, I feel alone and I don't know what to do. Whenever I'm afraid, I put my trust in you. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, ooh, ooh. Whenever I wander far from home, there's nowhere I can be. You won't come rescue me, make all things work for my good. So when fear tries to hold me down, I know where peace is found. Whenever I'm afraid, I put my trust in you. Whenever I'm afraid, I put my trust in you. When the road is long, I feel alone and I don't know what to do. Whenever I'm afraid, I put my trust in you. For you won't leave and you will not forsake. You have new mercies for me each and every day. So I put my trust in you. Whenever I'm afraid, I put my trust in you. Whenever I'm afraid, I put my trust in you. Whenever I'm afraid, I put my trust in you. When the road is long, I feel alone and I don't know what to do. Whenever I'm afraid, I put my trust in you. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, ooh 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 ooh, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, ooh ooh, trust in you.
Hello, campers. Man, hey, campers. Hi. I hope y'all had a good first part of the day. And I was finishing up kitchen duty. I was washing some dishes, cleaning up the dining hall, and the camp director let me know that I could take some campers on a canoe ride on the lake. At first, I was a little scared, but now I'm pretty excited. I stayed up studying about the proper canoe paddling techniques and water safety. I even took my guidebook here down to the lake and looked over it for a while, all the equipment and stuff, and I checked out the paddles and the life vest and counted all the canoes to be sure we had enough for the trip today. Oh, by the way, did you hear about the thunderstorm? Sometimes these storms can be very spotty and isolated, so it may not have rained where y'all were, but it sure did down at the lake. And I was walking back to my cabin and I heard Crystal and her cricket friends chirping loudly. But as I unrolled my sleeping bag on my bunk, those crickets were silent. And that's when I heard the thunder rolling in. I really like sleeping in a rainstorm. I think I'm ready for a good rest of the day.
Oh, good, Sam, you're here.
Oh, yeah, I sure am. And I was telling the campers that I feel prepared for this great canoe adventure on the lake.
Oh, were you supposed to take the campers canoeing on the lake today?
I sure am, and I studied a long time. I even slept with a paddle and a life vest for my pillow. I'm not nervous at all right now. I'm just regular excited.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're feeling very prepared and confident. You've been working so hard, and I know you've been learning a lot as the camp counselor.
I sure have.
Did you hear that storm last night, though?
Oh, yeah, wasn't it wonderful? I was studying down by the lake, and I went back to my cabin, and I had the best night of sleep I've had since coming here to camp. But just between you and me, I didn't even need my teddy bear, Mr. Snuggles.
Oh, well, that's really good to hear, too. And it was quite a storm. I hate to mention this to you, Sam, but we may have to postpone your trip on the lake today.
Well, postpone? Why?
I know, I'm sorry. The storm last night, it caused some damage to the equipment shed and several of the canoes. We're going to have to get things cleaned up and repaired before we can use them.
Oh, this is just terrible. This cannot be happening.
I'm sorry
right
about
now.
that, campers. Like, Sam, okay, he wasn't supposed to leave. So, musicians, can you guys take over for a second while I check on Sam? Yeah. Oh, thank you. Sam.
This is what trust looks like. Holding on to you for life, and I know everything will be alright. This is what trust looks like. When I feel like giving in, I remember all your promises, and I know everything will be alright. That's why Jesus, Jesus, how I trust you. You've been faithful time and time again. Jesus, Jesus, precious Jesus, I know that you'll be faithful to the end. This is what trust looks like. Holding on to you for life, and I know everything will be alright. This is what trust looks like. When I feel like giving in, I remember all your promises, and I know everything will be alright. That's why Jesus, Jesus, how I trust you. You've been faithful time and time again. Jesus, Jesus, precious Jesus, I know that you'll be faithful to the end. 1, 2, 3, 4. I just wanna learn to trust you more. 5, 6, 7, 8. There is nothing better than your love and grace. 1, 2, 3, 4. I just wanna learn to trust you more. 5, 6, 7, 8. There is nothing better than your love and grace. Jesus, Jesus, how I trust you. You've been faithful time and time again. Jesus, Jesus, precious Jesus, I know that you'll be faithful to the end. I know that you'll be faithful to the end.
Now, you have to understand that this happens from time to time with these pop-up thunderstorms. Don't worry, we'll have it cleaned up soon.
Oh, this is just terrible. I was starting to feel comfortable as a counselor, and now this happens. And I studied for a long time, and I was ready for a fun time on the lake.
I know, it is disappointing. But the camp director has already called in some help from other camp staff to start the cleanup. Now, I did a flyover this morning, and I'm happy to report that the zip line, rock climbing wall, and archery range were not affected at all by the storm. Maybe you could lead the campers in those activities.
I don't know nothing about zip lining, rock climbing, or archery, okay? I studied for canoeing. And I can't learn all those activities in this short amount of time. What should I do?
Now, don't get frustrated, Sam. Whenever I'm in doubt, I always refer to our camp call out.
Of course, the camp call out. Here it is. And many of you campers probably know this. If you do, you should say it with me. I could use some encouragement today. So here we go. What time I'm afraid, I will trust in you. Psalms 56:3. All right.
Very, very good. I think we should say it one more time all together to make sure that we're feeling it today. All right, campers, are you ready? 1, 2, 3. What
time I am afraid, I will trust in thee.
Very good, very good. Storms can bring fear and uncertainty, but we can still have peace even in the middle of a storm.
We can?
Oh, yes. I think today's reference story may help you out, Sam. Why don't you turn to chapter 3 and read the title for us?
Oh, yes, here it is. Trust God to give us peace. It looks like the reference story is a story about Jesus in a storm.
Oh, yes. It sounds like this is going to be just the story that we need today. Okay, let's get ready.
Got a special rain hat that we might have to borrow if it gets rainy, okay? Okay, today's story is a story about Jesus, okay? Now, Jesus, in the Bible times when he was living, he was kind of like a celebrity. Like people started to learn about what he was doing. He was doing miracles and he was helping people and he was preaching and teaching about God. And he started drawing a big crowd and people started coming out to listen to him all over. Okay. And one day when Jesus was teaching and preaching, he decided to get out on the boat into the water and go over to the other side of the land. Okay. This story from the Bible is about that day. They got in the boat, Jesus and his disciples, and they were going out into the water. Yeah. And this day, everything was beautiful. It was beautiful and peaceful, and the water was calm, and the sun was shining, and it was a beautiful day. Not like the day that Sam and Lou had last night. But this lake, is known for sudden changes, as some of the disciples were about to find out.
What a beautiful day.
Oh, yes, it is. So far.
Would you just look at the sea? So peaceful. So calm.
It's really more of a lake, don't you think?
Sea, lake, whatever. It's beautiful.
Hey guys, let's cross over to the other side.
Jesus wants to cross the lake. So what are we going to do?
Cross the lake.
We are disciples after all. And what do good disciples do?
We follow.
Speaking of following Jesus after you, hey, why did the disciples cross the lake?
To get to the other side.
Oh, no.
Come on, man. You need some new material.
Hey, please give me a break. I'm a disciple, not a comedian.
You can say that again.
As they crossed the lake,
Or sea.
or sea, Jesus rested his head on a cushion and fell asleep.
Hey, guys, let's try and keep it down a little bit, okay? I think Jesus is tired.
We are disciples, and what do good disciples do?
We let Jesus sleep.
So remember when I told you that this lake was known for sudden changes? I think something is fixing to happen. One of those changes is fixing to happen right now. Okay, and I need your help. Okay? All right. I need, let's see, can Miss Neely's class, can y'all make rumbly sounds like rumbly thunder? Okay, like that. All right. And then Sandy's class, can y'all make some wind sounds like shh, shh, shh. All right, and I'm going to leave it to the teenagers to throw in a big crack of thunder just every once in a while whenever you feel it, okay? All right, so you can start out kind of quiet. You get a little bit louder and a little bit louder as the storm gets bigger, but don't get so loud that we can't hear what everybody's talking, okay? All right, are you ready? Where's the wind? Shh.
I have a bad feeling about this.
A storm fell upon the waters, and the disciples were terrified.
We're terrified.
The winds was tossing the disciples to and fro,
Tossing, to and fro.
and the boat was filling up with water.
The boat is filling up with water.
So they went and they woke Jesus up.
Master, wake up.
Master,
Master,
we're going to drown. Please wake up.
So Jesus stood, and then he gave orders to the wind and the violent waves.
Peace, be still.
And then the storms died down, so everybody can be shh. Once again, everything was calm.
Why are you frightened? Don't you have faith yet?
Who is this?
Even the winds and water obey him.
The disciples were in awe of the calming power of God. They eventually made it to the other side in their boat, and then they do what good disciples do.
We follow.
Yeah. So remember when that Jesus had the power to calm either real storms like he did on this day with the disciples, or storms that are in our lives that might make our hearts and our minds feel like turbulence. We can have confidence to follow him anywhere. Okay? How did the disciples react when the storm came? Were they happy about it, or were they frightened about it? They were frightened, weren't they? They were out there in the middle of this big lake or sea, and it started getting really scary, and it was big storms, and they were frightened. What was Jesus doing when the storm started? Just raise your hand if you know the answer. Okay, Esme, what is it? What was Jesus doing? He was asleep. That's right. Okay, I'm going to pick somebody else. Here's one more question. Who do you think knew more about the calming power of God, Jesus or the disciples? Let's see. Claire. Oops. Jesus. Yeah, absolutely. Jesus, because Jesus is God's son. Having faith in the calming power of God's love doesn't mean that storms won't come, okay? I think it was maybe this morning when Sam was talking about being afraid and worrying that he shouldn't be afraid. And we talked about, Lou reminded him that the Bible verse said, what time I am afraid, I will trust in thee. So that Bible verse helps us to know that, guess what? Sometimes we are going to be afraid. And that is okay. Just like the disciples were afraid in this storm, but they went and got Jesus, and Jesus took care of it all. Okay, so just because we have Jesus in our lives does not mean we won't have to face scary things like the disciples in the storm. Doesn't mean that we won't experience sad things. Just think about like Ruth and Naomi and Orpah, how they went through sad things. And we all have times when we might feel alone sometimes, kind of like Jacob felt alone. But in every one of these situations, God was with them in every single situation. Each one of these stories tells us about a time that somebody was afraid. And then each one of these stories has a reminder for us that no matter if we're alone or if we're sad or if we're scared, that Jesus is with us. And our songs that we've been learning help us with that too, okay? All right, I want to do something. Our Firelight focus for this lesson is trust God to give us peace. Okay, can y'all say this with me? Trust God to give us peace. Good job. All right, and I am somebody who struggles with this sometimes because I get up in a tiz and get really anxious and frustrated sometimes. That's just who I am. I get too many things in my head, and I've got too many things I'm trying to do, and I just can't get it all done. So as I was studying about this lesson and studying about trusting God to give us peace, I came up with something that I thought this is something I'm going to try to do for me, and I thought it might help some of y'all too, okay? So we're going to take a deep, everybody focus? Okay, up here. We're going to take a nice deep breath in. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And out. And then we're going to say, trust God. Okay, one more. In. To give us peace. Good job. Does anybody ever get frustrated? Do y'all ever get in a tizzy? Does everybody know what that means? Have you ever been in a tizzy? When you're running around, you're trying to get everything done and you're working, it seems like everything's messing up. Maybe you're trying to get to school on time and you cannot find your right shoes or your book bag, or maybe you've lost your phone and you're running around and you can't find stuff. And that's what I call being in a tizzy. So when I get in a tizzy, next time, what I'm going to try to do is remember this Firelight focus, trust God to give us peace. If we can just stop, take that nice deep breath and say, trust God. Okay. Nice deep breath. To give us peace. There we go. And reset our brain and reset our mind and pray and trust in God. Remember our Bible verse, focus, and then we can get our minds back on track. That's right. Trust God to give us peace. And when we're afraid, trust in God all the time, right? Okay. I appreciate y'all so much, and I'm so thankful that y'all have been such good listeners. And I just want to remind you one more time, the stories that we've learned today, are they fiction or nonfiction? They are nonfiction. They're true. They really happened, right? Just like it said in the Bible.
Man, trust God to give us peace. What a great story and Firelight focus.
Oh, Sam, I think so too. That was just an awesome Firelight focus. How about we do send our campers off to their counselors for their stations while you and I join the others down by the lake for some of that cleanup?
Really? Who?
Well, there's someone down there that I want you to meet.
Oh, yeah. Who is that?
And her name is Betty.
Who is Betty?
Betty is a largemouth bass. She's a fish. And she likes to talk a lot, and she knows a lot about the lake. Let's head down there now. But before we do, I just want to say that I think we've had an awesome Bible school so far. And I think we should read our camp call out one more time before we send our campers off. I just love it this week. So let's do it one more time, guys. 1, 2, 3. What time I am afraid, I will trust in thee. Awesome. Great job, guys. Okay, we've had a great time with you all. Go off to your counselors. We'll see you later. Bye.